Hi everybody and a big welcome to cEDH TV gameplay. Me and Pontus, joined by Jordan again.
Hello.
Also with us we have Snuske.
Hello.
So today I'm playing a version of Tymna Malcolm that made top 16 recently. It's a bit more mid-rangey, kind of grindy version, and it looks kind of interesting, so I want to try it.
More Talion. We're still testing cards. We're getting closer and closer to a list we like, me and Memo. Still a few cards we're unsure of. Now we're testing Ledger Shredder, and we're also on Karn now, and we have Shouldered back in the deck. So a few different things change here and there. We're getting close to a list we want to play.
I am playing Najeela. I'm playing Memo's Najeela list because I haven't played in a while, and he's real good. And Najeela's my favorite, and I probably won't look too bad playing this deck.
I wanna play some Urza Mono Blue. Here we go. You've seen this before. We wanna put an Hullbreaker Horror into play. It has a few more creatures like Fairy Mastermind, Gilded Drake, Phyrexian Metamorph and such, and Reality Ship. Urza's been getting some upgrades, so it's time to test him again. And with that, let's take a look at some opening hands.
This hand is surprisingly good, actually. Only problem is that I don't have a second land, but this is a turn 1 Pirate into turn 2 Malcolm, either way. If I draw a land, I have mana up for Spellsnare either way. That's actually pretty good. It's not the best hand. Wait, I can't be keeping it first 7 again, but I think I am. If I draw 1 land, I have turn 2 Malcolm plus Fairy Mastermind, and that's actually pretty good. I can hold up Fairy Mastermind or Spellsnare. That's actually really good. If I just top take a land. I know top taking a land is quite cope, but this hand is pretty good even if I don't, so let's keep a first 7.
Wow. That is turn 1 Talion into turn 2 Ring, or keep up Notion Thief if I see a draw. Yeah, dope. Has options, and it doesn't get hit by Mindbreak Trap on turn 1 like last time. So, yep, definite keep.
No, that's not very good. This is a turn 2 Najeela. That's about it. Let's go to 6. Okay. Okay, we can work with this. This is turn 1 Regimen, turn 2 Najeela, and hopefully we'll draw into something else. So we'll put Red Flame and Intuition.
This hand is sitting on I pray Gitaxian Probe will give me a land, I guess. I really like the Sapphire Medallion to get with Urza. But other than that, like, we don't have that much going with this hand. Mindbreak Trap is good. That's a safety. We have Grafdigger's Cage. That's a safety. But we don't... I want something more explosive. I want something that is doing something. And this is just hoping for a second land, so we're getting Urza into play eventually. So absolute mulligan. We don't have a single land in this hand, so we're going down to 6. This is the land that removes depletion counters. Yes, it is. So we're looking at a turn to Heuristic Study. I mean, this is a deck that can't tutor for a Heuristic Study. And usually in other decks, you do use your Vamp Tutor on turn 1 to find a Mana Crypt or Heuristic Study to have that turn to Heuristic Study. That is common. And here we have that. We also have a Back to Basics turn afterwards, so to say. This hand is not... It could get stuck, so to say. For example, we get the Heuristic Study into play, and then there's a chance we don't do that much more. However, Heuristic Study is kind of really strong at the moment, so I think it's gonna usually carry me. There's a chance, a very huge risk, that Heuristic Study is gonna get counterspelled, or they're just paying for the Heuristic Studies, which I don't think they're in general going to do. So I'm actually gonna keep this hand. I'm gonna bottom Solve the Equation or Whir of Inventions. I think we're actually gonna bottom Solve the Equation. There we go. This is our hand. Let's get the game going.
Take my turn. With sadness about no pre-games. Play Exotic Orchard, land for turn. Pass turn.
Draw for turn. We're going to play and crack this Mars Flats to make this Underground Sea. Then we're going to cast a Jewel Lotus and cast Talion. When Talion enters, I will name 1. So whenever my opponents cast a spell with mana value 1 or a creature with power or toughness 1, they lose 2 life and I draw a card. I will also cast this Mana Crypt and this LED.
We'll draw a card. I will play a Taiga. I will tap it for 1. I will play a Regivan, which will trigger Talion, so I'm going to lose 2 life, and you may draw a card. And with that, I will pass the turn.
That's me then. I'm gonna draw a card for turn. I'm gonna be simple, put this land into play tapped with the 2 depletion counters on it, and then I have nothing further to do. Go for it.
So my hand was the definition of skillish. Go to my turn. That helps. Polluted Delta, land for turn. I would like to fetch. Finding a Tundra. Tapping 1 for a Siren Stormtamer. Yes, I will take 2 from Talion. With Siren Stormtamer in play, I will pass the turn.
And I will roll for crypt. Odds is alley. It's a 6, no damage. I will draw for turn. I will play and crack this Scalding Tarn. I will get a Watery Grave Shocked In, losing another 2. So we have the option here of just jamming the One Ring and getting that engine going. But for these early turns, I do like being able to hold up both Spell Snare, Mana Drain, and an Ocean Thief for hard setups. So the Mana Drain can catch anything, the Spell Snare can catch a potential dock side if more artifacts and enchantments get online for this turn cycle, and hey, if someone kept a low hand, like that player below me, and went for the turn 2 wheel, this card is looking pretty good. So I'd rather do that and just have the One Ring come in just a tad later. I'm not too worried about it. Pass the turn.
To play najeela. It does not trigger Talion. I'm going to go to combat, and Mons, I would like to attack you for 2.
I will take 2, and you will exile...
Wonderful.
Oh, a Mana Vault. Good hit for you.
That does trigger Talion, so I don't know if I want to do that. I'll make a treasure token, and I'm going to spend it right away and lose 2 life, an Esper Sentinel. That's a 1 mana spell. Yeah. So, I will, I'll get shocked again, but I will have an Esper Sentinel, and that makes me happy. And with that, I will pass the turn.
Untap and draw a card. Island. Basic island. I'm gonna tap this, remove a depletion counter, add 2 blue mana to get a total of 3 for a Ristic Study. I can't pay for Esper, so Najeela Jordan gets to draw a card.
I'd like to respond to the Ristic and the Esper trigger, I think. Yeah. We're gonna flash in this Notion Thief.
I pass priority. No, I am not. I actually drew into an interaction here. Force! Pitch this whir of invention to the force of will here. That can go. Trying to counterspell the Notion Thief. So, Force of Will counters Notion Thief.
Respond to the Esper Sentinel trigger. Lower the chances of a mental misstep in hands by casting this Enlightening Tutor in response to Ristic Study. I will take 2 to Talion. Enlightening Tutor resolves. So if you look at my current mana, I have this tutor will make it so I can't draw a land next turn, and I have 2 spells I think I need to keep up. Fair Mastermind seems like it will be great in this current board state. We have so many draw engines, and I will be able to draw off most of them. So that's something I very much want to keep up. But I think we're in the territory of needing to keep up interaction for both Snuske and Jordan at this point as well. So I will take Jewel Lotus because that actually lets me have 3 mana when I pass the turn instead of just 2. So I can represent either a Fair Mastermind or a Psych Rift, as well as a Spell Snare, just to be extra safe, because this hand is playing for the long game, unless we would draw Nos, but we're not really there at the moment, so we're playing for the long game still. So I will put this Jewel Lotus on the top of my library.
And finally, Ristic Study resolves, and I pass the turn.
Go to my turn, and then casting a Jewel Lotus, not paying any taxes. Jewel Lotus resolves to cast a Malcolm. I will go to combat, and I'll hit Jordan for 1. I'll make a treasure. And I will then pass the turn.
Untap. Roll for the crypt. It's a 5. Take 3. And I will draw for turn. I'll play a Spire of Industry as my land for turn.
Okay, let's draw a card. First, we're going to go to combat for 6.
Yeah, I take 6. Ouch.
Wonderful.
And your
did you-
gets a Mox Opal.
Ooh, I'll play a Mox Opal. I will tap my City of Traders and pay. Go to main phase 2. We'll tap our Mox Opal for... I will cast my Mox Opal and then tap the City of Trader to pay for Ristic. Now I will tap Mox Opal for a white. We will play this Arid Mesa and sacrifice our City of Traders. We'll crack our Arid Mesa for a Tundra and tap that for a white, and then we will tap this Taiga and cast a Ranger Captain Vigos.
In response to Rustic Study trigger, I will tap 2 to cast a Fairy Mastermind, not paying for Rustic. I'm not paying for Rustic Study, Mons may draw. Fairy Mastermind resolves.
I'd like to show you a mana drain.
Mana Drain.
I will pay for neither.
Great.
That's a second for turn as well, so I will draw another card.
The rare instance where we draw into the Force of Will. Mons, you can draw.
I pass.
I pass.
You're not even helping me with... how much do I want this mana drain to resolve? Or how much do I want this Ranger Captain to die? I'm gonna lose a life, tapping the Spire of Industry. Now the question is, where does this offer go? I haven't decided yet.
Onto the Mana Drain?
There's a good chance I want to counter my own mana drain here, yeah. I think I just want the extra mana for my next turn. Or maybe I just don't want to cast this offer at all.
Alrighty. Alright, well, we drew into the Force of Will thanks to Esper Sentinel, and we Force of Will the Mana Drain. My Ranger Captain is going to resolve, and I will search my library. I will reveal a Birds of Paradise and put it into my hand. We'll cast our Birds of Paradise. Once you control. If everyone's happy, I will pass the turn.
I'm gonna untap and draw a card. We have a huge hand. I'm gonna start off by playing a Jeweled Lotus. I am not paying for Esper Sentinel. Jordan, you can draw a card. I'm also gonna follow up with a Urza Lord High Artificer. He has a power of 1, so Talion will trigger, I will lose 2 life, and Snuske can draw a card. He resolves, and I gain a Construct. Then I'm gonna tap this, lose the last depletion counter, it goes to the graveyard, and I will cast a Torpor Orb.
Pass on Torpor Orb.
I will pass on the Torpor Orb.
Torpor Orb resolves, I will play this island, and from here I will pass the turn.
Go to my turn. I'll shock in a Water Grave as land for turn. I will cast a Dark Ritual, which will trigger everything, and I will not be paying any taxes, and I will be taking 2 damage.
Everything.
Okay.
I would like to respond to everything. It's an Orcish Bowmasters. To pay for the Ristic Study with the extra 1 from the mana.
I will Spell Snare it. It does trigger Talion and Ristic. I will not be paying for Ristic, and I will be losing 2 life to Talion. Spell Snare resolves. So Dark Ritual, I will not be paying for Ristic. Mons will draw. That will trigger Fairy Mastermind, and I will draw. Then Jordan will draw. That's his first card this turn. We'll be losing 2 life to Talion, and you will draw a card, which will make me draw a card. Dark Ritual resolves. Just a Mana Vault. I will take 2 damage from Talion, and I will actually pay for Ristic Study. So paying for Ristic, I lose 2 life, and you may draw a card. I will sack a treasure, tap a land, use my black floating to cast a Tymna. Not paying for Ristic this time. I will move to combat. I will swing Malcolm at Jordan and Siren Storm Tamer at Mons.
No blocks for me.
Same, no blocks, I take 1.
I would like to pay 2 life and draw 2 cards. So here I would kind of love to deploy a Esper Sentinel, but I think we really need to keep up mana more than we need to develop more draw engines, because the table has drawn a lot. There's a Torpor Orb saving us kinda, but we're not safe at all. So I think tapping a mana for Esper Sentinel is a bad choice here. So I will just keep up mana to interact and maybe go for it next turn. We're not really in a go for it place right now, but yeah, we're 3 control decks in the najeela. I think najeela just wins that pod usually.
I will roll for the Crypt. It's a 4. I'm safe. Draw a card in the City of Treasures as my land for turn. Float a colorless. Cast a Ledger Shredder. Ledger Shredder resolves. I will draw and discard. I'll discard this Shoulder's Edict. Doesn't really look like we can get down to 7 cards in hand by casting stuff. So we are going to move to cleanup. Discard this Flooded Strand and this Time Twister.
We'll play this Verdant Catacombs and crack it a Underground Sea. Lotus Pet, pay 1 for for stick steady. Yeah, we'll attack Regaband and Ranger Captain at.
No blocks, take 5, Sea of Clouds.
And with that, I will pass the turn.
I will untap and draw a card. Play this snow-covered island. So, we can actually go for it here. We have in our hand transmute... no wait, is it correct? Yeah, transmute artifact is in our hand. Old art, hard to see. However, with this we can find... let's go Basalt Monolith or Grim Monolith. And then with Power Artifact we can reduce the untap cost on that artifact, which means we can have infinite colorless mana and boom, win the game with our boss. However, there is a huge problem. You see, we have a bunch of various control effects in play here and there, and none have really tapped out at all. In other words, I think the better choice here right now is to cast a few annoying threats and force some form of interaction from them. For example, back to basic could be a good thing here. We're gonna start off by casting a Gilded Drake.
I'm down. Spell Snare. Targeting Gilded Drake.
Fairy Mastermind on Mons drawing his second card.
I have no response to this. You can counterspell my Gilded Drake. I'm gonna follow up with a back to basic. You guys are playing too many colors. I am not paying for Esper Sentinel, and Fairy Mastermind and Ledger Shredder will all trigger here.
I pass on back to basics.
We're gonna do Mafia style. Offer.
Wait, this is actually good. Yeah, this is okay. I mean, I'm gonna create 2 treasures, which I can tap for mana. So, strangely, I like it. Even though I'd rather have a back to basics, but I'm not gonna fight it. I'd rather keep the counter spells hanging around on the field for everyone, for better things. I will play a Lotus Petal, following up with a Jeweled Lotus. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm gonna cast a Karn the Great Creator. I'm so happy that a lot of really key, important counterspells have disappeared. Here it is.
Pass on Karn.
Karn resolves. I'm gonna uptick Karn by 1 and destroy the Lion's Eye Diamond from Snuske, the Talion player. And then, with 7 cards in hand, I pass the turn.
Go to my turn. Land for turn would be a command tower. Snuske continues to have annoying blockers, so I will swing Malcolm at Jordan and Siren Stormtamer at Mons.
I'll take the damage.
I'll make 2 treasures of Malcolm. In my post-comp main phase, to null trigger, and I would like to pay 2 life to draw 2 cards. I will tap 2 mana to cast a Cyclonic Rift targeting the Karn. I will not pay for a stick. I will not pay for Esper.
I'm gonna respond with a Pact of Negation to Pontus Cyclonic Rift. I cannot pay for Esper Sentinel. Jordan can draw a card.
Fairy Mastermind on the Esper Sentinel draw. I will respond and cast a Swan Song on the Pact. So triggeristic, I will not pay, so you may draw Mons. Trigger, I will draw. Then Talion and Ledger Shredder will both trigger. I will trigger Fairy Mastermind off your connive.
I pass on Swan Song. It can resolve and counterspell my Pact of Negation.
Swan Song resolves, countering Pacts. Then Cycrift resolves, bouncing Karn. I will tap 4 mana to cast a Displacer Kitten. I would like to crack 2 treasures to cast a Cabal Ritual, targeting Mana Vault. Displacer Kitten ability resolves. Cabal Ritual is on stack. Cabal Ritual resolves. I have 5 black. Mana Vault is untapped or flickered. The multitude resolves. So I will be finding One Upon a Wind here, because we can't really win on our turn because of the Ranger Captain and the Torpor. Like, we're not in an actually good place to win, funnily enough, even though we're kind of in a pretty, commanding position. But One Upon a Wind lets us take advantage of those pesky tries from our opponents. We do have a lot of mana. We would really want to find a 2-mana rock or anything that makes mana. Ramirez de Pietro is really cute if the Torpor goes away, because then we can flicker him for treasures. And if we're under Angel's Grace, we can't die to his triggers, so it always makes 2 treasures without us dying. But we need to get there, and we're not getting this turn. So I think this turn we just find One Upon a Wind, and Praetor's Grasp for a Breach, most likely, actually. No, Breach is wrong. Breach can't win through a Crafter's Cage. It's just very hard winning at this board state. I think the answer is just to take Adnos from Jordan, which feels wrong, but I think that has to be the call. Because if we can Ageless Grace Adnos, we probably just win. We're coping here because we have to draw into mana along the way. But since we can't win this turn, we kind of have to do some cope. And I think Adnos Ageless Grace is our best out here. So that's what I'm going to try. Hopefully has it in the deck. If it doesn't, I have to find something else. And we'll figure it out along the way. I will tap Mana Vault, have 4 colorless floating, use 2 black and 1 colorless, cast a Praetor's Grasp targeting Jordan.
I have a prediction. I actually think what he's gonna get. I think he's gonna get Final Fortune. He has 2 treasures left. So I think his plan is to force the issue, make Ranger Captain die, and then Final Fortune. That's my guess.
And here comes the funniest part of this whole turn. And then I pass.
Roll for the crypt. It's a 4. I'm safe. Float 1 here. Cast a mana vault. Tap the vault. Use the floating. The 1 ring. Not be paying.
I will draw a card, and when I draw my second card this turn, Pontus will draw a card because of Fairy Mastermind.
Tap the ring first of all. I will resolve the connive. Tap the ring. Draw a card. Play this Cabal Pit. City Traders will get sacrificed. Tap here for a black. Cast this Opposition Agent.
This one, Derevi, Imperial Tactician.
Alrighty, let's move to combat. I'd like to swing 8 at Jordan. Second main phase, I would like to cast a Mystic Remora. Pass my turn.
We'll play a City of Brass as our land for turn. Pontus will attack you for 2 with Regavan.
No blocks, take 2. Swords to Plowshares.
Use the treasure that I just received to source to Plowshare the Displacer Kitten. Heuristic Study, I will pay. Talion trigger can resolve, I will pay for fish.
Fish can draw. Trigger Fairy Mastermind of your second draw. Then trigger Heuristic, I will pay, using 1 colorless floating. Esper may draw. Fairy Mastermind triggers from Esper Sentinel. I draw a card. This player kitten trigger targeting itself. It flickers itself. Dress down on stack. Resolves, ETB, I would like to draw a card. Then Swords to Plowshares will try to resolve, but it will fizzle.
I'll go to main phase 2, and then I will go to my end step and go to cleanup. I am now at 7 cards in hand, and pass the turn.
Untap and draw a card. Land drop will be a Blast Zone. It comes into play with 1 counter on it. We're gonna follow by casting Karn, the Great Creator. And I'm paying for Esper Sentinel, but I'm not paying for the fish, so Talion can draw a card. Karn resolves. I have a Karn struck that should go to Punchy Town, I think. Combat. Karn struck is going at Jordan. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Big.
You convince me, I'll block my warrior.
I'm going to end my turn, discarding these 5 cards to my graveyard and pass my turn.
Quit my turn. Untap, I will not untap Mana Vaults. And in my draw step, I will take damage. Morphic Pool. So I will swing Sire Stormtamer and Malcolm both at Jordan. And make 1 treasure, because it's 1 or more. In my post-combat main phase, Tymna will trigger. And I'll actually pay 1 life to draw a card. Tap a white to cast a Paladin class. Displacer Kitten trigger will target my Mana Vault, and I will pay for Rustic and Esper Sentinel. Talion and Fish can both resolve. I lose 2 life. As Snuske draws a second card, I will draw a card of Fairy Mastermind. So Paladin class reads, at level 1, which it will enter on, spells your opponent casts during your turn costs 1 more to cast. For 3 mana, 2 and 1 white, I can level it up to level 2, and there it gives creature I control +1/+1. And at level 3, it says, whenever you attack until end of turn, target attacking creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other attacking creature, and gains double strike. I will move to cleanup.
I have 2 triggers, Fish and Crypt. I will roll for Crypt. It's at 2. I'm safe. Now we have to decide if we pay for Fish for another round. I think we do. Pay with the Spire of Industry. And then I will also lose 1 to the 1 ring. And then I will draw for my turn. Alrighty. Play a Morphic Pool as my land for turn. I'm gonna move to combat. I mean, swinging at Jordan just makes it so he kind of has to go for it. Yeah, we're swinging the full 8 at you in the air.
I will block the big boy with my bird, and I'll take... That is not going to help to cast Derevi. Mons, you can draw to move to combat.
Okay, so if I were you, I would full swing at me.
Okay, I'm okay with this. I have no idea, but I mean, it sounds better than what I was thinking.
Jordan, don't kill us here. I see what this is. I see where this is going. Remember what I said? Final Fortune, or like you killing us to pass turn to Pontus. You know what this is leading to, right? I think Pontus wins if you kills us here. That's my that's my pitch. But I see what Pontus can do here. It's pretty cool.
Never trust Pontus ever again. Najeela dies. He will regardless. He will go to 1 because it would have been exactly 8.
Ragavan exiles a Chain of Vapor.
And Gitaxian Probe Mons. All the things can resolve. I gotta go discard. I'll discard Wooded Foothills. And I will pass the turn.
I will untap and draw a card. Land for turn, island. I would like to go to combat immediately, and I'm gonna swing my construct at Talion, Snuske. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sure, I'll take 6.
I'm gonna cast my 1 ring, and I'm paying for Esper Sentinel. I'm not paying for Mystic Remora. The ring resolves, I have protection from everything, I will tap it and draw a card and put a burden counter on it. When I draw my second card, Pontus also draws a card. I'm discarding these 4 cards and then I'm passing the turn.
Go to my turn. Tap 4 mana to cast one of the spicier includes in this list. Ramirez de Pietro, Pillager. He also has, whenever 1 or more pirates I control deals combat damage to a player, I exile the top card of their library. And I may cast it. Notably, it's exiled forever, and I can cast it forever. Or as long as it remains exiled. I will move to combat. I will swing... The river is flying. Malcolm at Snuske, as well as Tymna at Snuske.
Fine. No blocks.
Then I would like to move to clean up.
Will untap. Roll for my crypt. I will take 3, and then I will take another 1 from the vault. Oh, we have the... I will take 1 from the ring, go to 16, and then my fish will die, and then I will go to my draw step and lose 1 to the vault. I'll play an Urza Saga. Cast a Dark Ritual. You can draw your cards. Let's draw a counterspell, shall we? Let's pay 3 life for this Toxic Deluge. Or you could let this happen.
I actually want this to resolve, so I'm gonna help out. I'm gonna cast an Offer You Can't Refuse on the Pact of Negation so Toxic Deluge can resolve. And I will pay for Esper Sentinel. Talion will also trigger and I will lose 2 life. Offer resolves.
With Toxic Deluge back on top of the stack, I will sack my Ranger Captain Bios.
No response.
I will draw a card. Yeah, alright, we'll tap 5 for and lose a life for Najeela. Play a Scalded Tarn, and I'll play Ignoble Hierarch. I pass after that.
In the end step, we're gonna put a charge counter on this Blast Zone, and then I'm gonna untap and draw a card and lose a life to the 1 ring. Land drop, Mystic Sanctuary. I actually have enough islands in my board state, so I'm gonna put a cool Pact of Negation on top of my library with this. I would like to activate the 1 ring and draw 2 cards with it. I'm gonna cast a Transmute Artifact. Transmute Artifact resolves. I am sacrificing this treasure and paying 2 mana for it. I'm gonna find a Grim Monolith with my Transmute Artifact. So Grim Monolith can be tapped for 3 mana, but you can untap it for 4 mana. However, that means you're going down in mana basically. However, I'm gonna cast this Power Artifact that basically lets me untap Grim Monolith for only 2 mana. This would generate infinite colorless mana here.
Alright, I will lose 2. I will figure out what I'm getting. I will draw a card, and I will discard this island. Then I'll respond to Power Artifact. I would like to auto-war it.
Yeah, that actually... does it. I have sadly no response to this, so Grim Monolith will go back to my hand, and my power artifact will fizzle and end up in my graveyard. So I guess we're going to combat. Snuske, take... Actually, I will mine... No, we should keep it around, I think. Yeah, Snuske, my construct is coming your way.
For 5 at this point? No, 6 still, because of the ring. Okay, block with Talion here.
I like that outcome. I'm gonna recast my Green Monolith here. I'm discarding these cards to hand size.
Let's start off by losing 1 to the ring. And I'll roll for the crypt. It's a 2. I'm safe. Whew. And I will not be untapping the vault. And I will draw... In my draw step, I will lose 1 though. Oh, this goes up to 2. I'll go ahead and play my command tower as my land for turn. I would like to cast a Narset. Can draw. I will -2 Narset. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put a Cyclonic Rift into my hand. Pass my turn.
I will draw a card. I'm going to go to combat and attack Mons for 5.
I'm gonna cast, before blockers, March of Swirling Mist. And I'm gonna exile a... solve the equation. To increase the cost, I'm gonna phase out Najeela and the Ledger Shredder. March resolves. They phase out. And then, after they have phased out, I will block the token with my commander and killing the token.
I'm going to cast a Thassa's Oracle. It's just a blocker.
I'm gonna untap and draw a card for turn and lose 2 life to my 1 ring. I'm gonna cast a Reality Ship. It's an artifact. Combat. My construct is a 8/8. It's coming at you, Snuske, the Talion player. I did not expect that. I pass. Well, I can't resist. I'm going to help this because I do want this to happen. So let's do... That's a lot of mana.
I sadly have to pass on Mana Drain.
Mana Drain counters Force of Will.
And Snap I will pass on as well.
And Snap Resolve.
And I no longer have a blocker for the 8/8.
So it's a 1v1 with me versus upcoming Najeela. Annoying. I need blockers. So I'm gonna uptick my Karn the Great Crater to make my 1 ring, which is a 4 CMC artifact, into a 4/4. That's a good blocker versus Najeela. So now we have a 1/4 Urza and we have a big 4/4. I think I'm ready for Jordan. And the ring is also indestructible. I'm going to put this War Room into play as well, by the way. Why not? And then we pass turn. I'm ready.
Oh, drawing a land does not help. Wait. Well, the plan was to cast Summoner's Pact. Yeah, may as well. I mean, I'm dead anyway, so.
I'm gonna counterspell that with an offer you can't refuse. You're no pact for you.
Alright, then I can't win off that, so I will concede.
I win! In typical normal beatdown way. Huh, cool.
But the cope didn't work.
Kind of sad that we realized at the end that the construct was not even supposed to be there, because that's kind of what killed me. Yeah, the torpor really messed with us. We never really got a good chance to actually go and get an answer for it. That was a long game.
That was a long game. The torpor really hurt us, and then Pontus swan-sonning Mons' thing in the interaction made it so we could not get enough attackers through to win with Drevi. And then we kind of just died. So, yeah, that's that.
Dress down. I have no idea what we're talking about. I never saw that card. Doesn't exist, and construct wins games. GG's. Well, a little bit sad that the token should not have been there, but yeah, cool game anyway.